All right, so this deck got me to infinite in just over 24 hours this month. I'm gonna have some gameplay right after the deck breakdown, so make sure you stick around for that. But let's talk about the deck, talk about the play lines, the win conditions. I've had a blast with this deck. It results in a lot of 8 cube games because you're dumping a lot of power on the last turn. We'll talk about how in a second. Your opponent can't guess what you're doing or how much power you're going to have. You're never really committed to any location, so it's really flexible in that you kind of get to choose where you're going to play in the last couple turns. And so with that flexibility and with the amount of power you're able to get off, this deck is just pretty insane. On top of that, when it comes to climbing, you're going to be playing bots here and there, and with a deck where you're dumping as much power as you can on the last turn, a lot of times going into turn 6 you don't have priority, and the bots generally snap in that scenario, and you can snap back pretty comfortably knowing that you're going to win. So really quick, let's talk about how to play the deck. There's kind of 2 win conditions and 2 different main play lines, if that makes sense. Your main win conditions here are Abomination, She-Hulk, and Hulk. Abomination costs 1 less for each card your opponent has in play that has negative power, which is why Scorpion is in here, which is why Cyclops is in here. And so your goal is to use Moon Girl to either copy Abomination or She-Hulk, or ideally both. Get as much negative power on your opponent's cards in the first 3 turns or so, 3 or 4 turns, if you have Abomination. If you copy the She-Hulk, you're going to try to float as much mana as possible to maybe buff up a Hulk. And then there's also a play line where you just get rid of Abomination or She-Hulk a little bit early on maybe turn 5, and then play a big Hulk on turn 6. But on turn 1, you're looking obviously to Sunspot. If you have Hulk in hand, sometimes it's worth it to just float that mana, give Hulk the +2, and then play Sunspot on turn 2, so you can float another mana. But Sunspot, Misty Knight, you're kind of playing with those turn 1 and 2. A lot of games I go Sunspot on turn 1, Misty Knight on turn 2, float the mana. Turn 3, play Scorpion or Armor. On turn 3, you also have the opportunity to just drop an early Cyclops. Generally, I like to save Cyclops until turn 4, unless I'm dropping a Moon Girl. It's really, you really have to adapt on your play style in the early turns based on what your last couple turns plan is. If you play Magic and you have that turn 7, you're going to plan on skipping completely turn 6. And if you're able to copy your She-Hulk with the Moon Girl, you'll have 2 She-Hulks in hand. If you skip turn 6, they'll be 0 cost by turn 7, and you can drop 2 She-Hulks and a Hulk. 2 She-Hulks and maybe 2 Abominations. That's not uncommon either. If you don't play Magic and you just have the regular 6 turns, you're looking to probably play Cyclops on 4, float the mana, and then on turn 5, you're going to skip it completely if you're going to play the She-Hulk. Otherwise, you can drop your She-Hulk early on turn 5 and then play Hulk for turn 6 and however much power that he is. The extra turn with this deck is unbelievably strong. However, there are some decks that when you're playing against them, you may not want that extra turn, and you just want to get the game early as quick as possible. So you're going to skip that turn 5 and then get your She-Hulk and Abomination out on 6. I'm sorry if that explanation was a little all over the place. This deck seems like it should be pretty simple to play, but in reality, in practice, it's all over the place, and you're really trying to adapt to what's going on. And so, like I said, I hit infinite in just over 24 hours. This is a fantastic deck just in general, but also fantastic because of all the bots that you're going to be playing. So give it a shot. Let me know if it works out for you. Let me know if you try other variations. I know there's variations where instead of playing the Moon Girl to copy, you play a Leech instead. I'm not a big fan of those. I like the Moon Girl. I like the high roll. So give this deck a shot. I do deck videos all the time on this channel, do bundle breakdowns. So if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. And as usual, if you love all things Marvel Snap, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell. I'll see you in the next one. All right, what are we doing? Misty Knight turn 1. I don't mind that. Just gotta keep our hand as empty as possible. Unless we draw a Hulk, I think we're gonna Scorpion turn 2. So hopefully we draw something that Moon Girl can copy. Monster Island. Yeah, Scorpion turn 2. Don't have a clear play line yet. Big House is all right. We'll play Cyclops mid. We do want to copy the She-Hulk. We don't have a use for copying the Cyclops, but if we copy the She-Hulk and say like an Abomination on turn 4, then turn 5 we can float everything, get the negative power Cyclops, hopefully play the Abomination. It's kind of planning pretty far ahead, but werewolf. I think we're in pretty good shape. It's pretty clogged up for a werewolf. So we just Moon Girl here. We even have the option to like double Sunspot and then float mana, and that would make the She-Hulks cost 2 on turn 6. Plays a Shaw there, so the werewolf can't ever bounce. Abomination. That already costs 2. So I think we're good here with a double Sunspot. Float. Oh no, we're only floating 3 in that case. So we can do 1 Sunspot, float 4, She-Hulks will be 2, Abomination will be 2, and then we're in a pretty good spot there. I think ideally I snap, but I'm not going to do that. We may have actually been able to...
I am Iron Man.
Oh no, this is better now. Because our Abomination is going to be 0, She-Hulks cost 2, we can rogue away the Iron Man, which is pretty big, and we'll just skip out on playing the second She-Hulk. So something along these lines, probably the best play. We can go Abomination mid to try to dodge a Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi comes down middle. We'll lose this 10 power, but we'll gain some back with the minus power of the Cyclops. I think that puts us ahead. So yeah, that's the play. I don't know if he ever tries to stick around here. I don't know what wins. Maybe he's gonna go like Brood into the Silver Surfer. Maybe.
I am Iron Man.
Let's see what it is. A Polaris pulls the Ninja. It's actually really good. And a Nakia. Not enough. So much power. And if we didn't even play the Rogue, like if we didn't have to play the Rogue, another She-Hulk there that's what, 29 power on the last turn? Minus the 2 power, so 31 power, equivalent with Cyclops. I think we even floated one. Insane. All right. Sunspot. We can play Sunspot on turn 1. We don't have any reason to float mana here. Don't have the Hulk in hand, so we're good there. Snow Guard, unfortunately, will turn off our magic, so we can't rely on magic. So let's play the Scorpion. I think we're going to play the magic anyway. A lot of the times when I've played against a Snow Guard, they think they're being clever in the... Unfortunately, we can't play Moon Girl. They think they're being clever in shutting off Limbo, and I just play into it on turn 6. So we're going to go for that. I wish we could play Moon Girl. This would have been a really good hit this turn to copy She-Hulk and Abomination, and then float everything on turn 5. So unless he plays an early bird. I think we just play Misty Knight and then we'll float. Sunspot will get a little big. Cosmo is kind of okay. If I assume Bird is coming down next turn, I guess question is, I'm gonna float all the mana here. I'm going to bet that he's going to play the Bird. So we're gonna Abomination, She-Hulk. Can we squeeze in something else? Armor. And I think we should be relatively okay. Something like this. If we do this, Ronin will be nine power. Put him to 14. So we can't just play one here. Okay. This should squeak out enough over there. And then we can play, maybe we go Abomination right. And then if he does play, if he doesn't play the bird, if he skips it, then we have Hulk for next turn. He's snapping. I'm going to assume he's playing the bird. So I'm just going to snap back and then attempt to call the bluff here. Mystique. Ooh, I hope it doesn't go too big over there. Shadow King's okay. Spider-Ham. Oh, he just went. He didn't think to play the bird. So we're just gonna go Hulk. Hulk left. He's got to go pretty big middle because of Mojo if he wants to win it. So I'm fairly happy with this. I mean, he can go for left and right. Playing Ronin. I don't remember what I put in these Ronin decks. He's gone. Victory. I thought for sure he was playing the bird there.